I am so excited to be here with my good friend, Coach Mike Bayer. Thanks for being on and just having the opportunity to sit down with you and having a conversation about everything that you do charges me up, man.
I couldn't think of a better person to sit down with.
This is a blast, man.
Yeah.
This is a blast. So we're gonna get right into it.
Let's do it.
Your work with others and your career has been really cool for me to watch, and we share a lot of same colleagues and friends and buddies in common in the field, and everybody says the same thing about you, that you're a gentle giant with a huge heart and just a very special soul, and I feel that way about you. What I really want to talk about is the kind of work that you do when you find clients, or when clients find you because they're stuck, they're anxious, they're depressed, they're not sure, what direction to go in. You have you've got a couple bestsellers, and you've got some really clear ideas for people. Where do you begin with somebody when they come to you?
So I've been in mental health for over 20 years and worked in it in a lot of different capacities like you have. And people come to us because they need help of some form. Often the type of help that people think they need isn't necessarily the type of help that they do need. So people will often come in complaining about depression, or about their partner who has a substance abuse problem, or feeling really stuck in their life. And usually when someone thinks they have a problem, if they knew the solution, they would just do it. So people come to us, or people come to me trying to figure out, what is this new solution that I need to do in my life?
And how do you decide what path to take them on? Because you're a smart guy, you're sharp, you've been doing this, you've worked with a lot of people over the years. How do you decide? How do you make the decision what direction to go in?
Well, for me, the first thing I have to figure out is if I have chemistry with them. I've learned through the years, and it's important for anybody who's going to work with a therapist or speak to an admissions director or a colleague, you have to have chemistry, and you can't make up chemistry. No. So either you kind of have that feeling with someone or you don't. So initially I try to figure out if I'm the right fit. And if I'm not the right fit, then I try to figure out, why am I not the right fit? Earlier in my career, I used to think that I had to be the right fit for everybody, and that's where I learned a lot of mistakes. Yeah. Because there's certain types of people I'm just not effective with. And I need to know that about myself.
That's amazing.
When I'm helping someone.
What a powerful message that is to get out there, to be ethical about your practices and realize when you're going to be a good fit for somebody, and know when you're going to be able to guide or help them and coach them or not.
Yeah.
Because there's no empathy, there's not a good fit. Something is bubbling up inside you as you're listening to them tell their story. And you make that decision that, hey, this isn't going to work. Yeah,
like in treatment and mental health, you'll, even as an author and being friends with other authors who are a lot more well-known than I am, people have this belief they like to idolize other human beings. And they like to believe because somebody very famous for a certain type of therapy, that I must go to them because they're the top psychiatrist or the top psychologist. And the truth is, the number one thing you got to figure out is, like, do you have chemistry with them? It doesn't matter how good they are. If you don't have chemistry, you don't feel safe. You're not going to open up. You're not going to have it be this amazing experience where you're going to feel like you're getting the most out of it. And so I'm a big believer that it's not how well known someone is. It's about how good of a fit you are with them.
We talk about all the different modalities that people utilize in therapy: EMDR, CBT, DBT, REBT, right?
Yeah.
All those things, and 12-step facilitation. And research shows that you can take all of those things, right? Put them on a board and look at the research. And they say, well, of all those, which has the most efficacy? And the truth is, they're all about the same. The number one thing is what you're talking about: the therapeutic alliance. If you create that bond and there's a therapeutic alliance, better the chances are that person is really going to get something out of that therapeutic relationship and the work that you're doing.
Yeah, and I always think when somebody is radical about their therapeutic approach and believing that DBT is the only way or EMDR is the only way to treat trauma, I usually stay away from people like that.
Yeah.
Because
it doesn't fit for everybody.
everyone is unique and everyone's different, and we all have our complicated pasts and stories. And so if we really get locked into this is the only way to help them, we're missing so many other options.
Yeah, there's certain people of different generations, they go into a therapist that only does EMDR, and they're going to start doing this, right?
Right.
And that person of my generation is going to say, this is a bunch of woo-woo. You
Yeah.
know, I'm going to go find somebody else, and good luck with your EMDR.
Yeah.
When you're, look, in this book,
Yes.
which is a power-packed book full of great, not just great strategies and advice, but a very clear formula of how to do this, right? And how to create your best self. You've obviously done this, and you've worked people through your steps and your way of creating your best self. You know, what tips, what advice do you give? I know I don't want to create a very general question for you, but when you think about a plan for people, you've seen so many or worked with so many, what do you think in this day and age, this society we're living in, what are the things that you see people are just really lacking, that if you said, if everybody would do these few things, add these few things to their life?
Well, that's a big question. I mean, I think what I like to do with people is figure out who are they. So like, who are you outside of how you were raised? Like, who are you authentically? Because I think if we don't know who we are, it's really difficult to know where to go or what to work on or what's a problem. And so the first book, Best Self, Be Only Better, that I wrote was all about who are you authentically. So every exercise is about stripping yourself down and figuring out who are you.
Finding out who you are. Getting down
from how you
are.
approach life to.
Because a lot of people don't know, even young people don't know, right? 20-something-year-olds, they don't know.
We're all still figuring ourselves out. Yeah. We're different in relationships, we're different in our jobs, we're different in our social life, we're different as we age, we're different as our body goes through different types of pain, we're different as we grieve different people in our family. I mean, everything affects us and changes us, and sometimes we lose ourselves, and often I find that I get the phone call because somebody has lost themselves. They don't know what's happened. They don't know how they ended up here. They don't know how whether it be from alcoholism and drug addiction to going through their third relationship, or marriage. They don't know why they're repeating patterns. And so I like to kind of strip it all back and start off with like, let's figure out who you are.
That's fantastic. I would take that as number 1, 2, and 3, Coach Mike, as the things to do, because Prospect Hill is a 7-bed executive level wellness retreat center in St. Croix. No more patients than that, no more clients than that. And that's the kind of person that we get that comes in the door, is that whether they've been using substances or sex or gambling, or relationships are being destroyed, they're depressed. Exactly what you're saying is when you get to that point and start talking to people about who they are, a lot of them they might have had successful and might still be in a successful career, but they don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And they're miserable. And because of that lack of self-identity, they're lost. They don't feel good. They don't feel good about where they are in life. And they could be extremely, extremely well off, right? But they're living in that golden ghetto of...
The golden ghetto.
Yeah, they're living in that golden ghetto of, I should be happy because I have everything, apparently, but I don't have myself.
Yeah.
So kudos to you.
Well, thank you, Terry.
For doing that. Because I know that you work in, and you have cash centers and have had your own outpatient practices, and probably will again in other parts of the country. You're dealing with people from all walks of life, and when you're going to make a referral, when you're looking at a place like Prospect Hill, you have a client that really needs that exclusive, 100% confidential location. What do what are you really looking for to happen when somebody goes into that environment and then they're going to come out and work with you?
Well, I look at treatment centers as a drop in the bucket of life. They're just a little moment in time. And I can tell you the red flags of when I refer to programs, and then kind of the green flags that I've learned through the years. The red flags is when they don't ask me questions about the patient, and they don't ask, like, I've been working with someone for several months. I've been in their homes. The way I work is a lot different than a therapist or a clinician, and that I've been in their homes. I know their family members. I'm engaged. I'm immersed in their life, and so it's difficult when a treatment center doesn't really want my input, and the primary therapist doesn't call me within the first few weeks to even ask me about the person that I've been working with, which is common. The majority of treatment programs don't really care about my impressions. They have a system and a way of working. So a program that, and the programs that you work with and that you represent that work with referrents always are so much, I believe we provide better client care. I think also, there's a difference between doing high-end custom care and high-end give you whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And so I think a program too that has some boundaries around what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. I think the real challenge with people who are affluent, who have substance abuse issues, is helping them create a community in their life. They're not just going to go get a sober job. Maybe their child is, maybe. They're going to want to be around peers. And so it's really important that programs like this exist because they're going to be around their peers. They're going to be able to have conversations with people who have similar struggles in their own lives. I mean, when you strip it all away, it's the same shit that we're all dealing with. But it does help to be able to relate to others in a real way.
I thank you for saying that, because if I hear you correctly, you're talking about when you're in a program like that with people like, peers that are in the same walk of life that you are, and they're meeting people that they can trust, which is a big issue. Is if I'm in a treatment facility with 30 other people and they're coming from, middle class, blue collar jobs in Chicago, and I'm this rock star, well-known person, I'm not going to be, the trust level is going to be hard. How do I trust this person and know that the relationship they're trying to create with me is not because they want something from me? That's the problem I've seen. Most of the type of clientele you deal with and you work with and help, they struggle with that. So what you're saying is they have the ability to create that sense of community when they're in a program with like-minded people from the same walk of life.
Yeah.
Because they can then go, hey, I know you live in Beverly Hills and I live on Miami Beach, but we both have private jets that we can visit each other, and you can come stay.
You're dealing with some really high-end people.
Oh, I'm serious.
Right.
Some people, and I know you have too. That
Yeah.
I had a client who she was in treatment, and when her and one of her peers that she met were leaving, they were both going on a trip to Europe together to celebrate their 6-month sobriety. They decided to do that together, because they can. Right?
Yeah.
But they can't just normally just meet other people in a program if they're not with that same type of person.
Yeah, I mean, I think the treatment plan is different. The continuing care plan is different with somebody who has a lot of means, or if somebody is famous, usually they're like family team, is there's some family members, and then there's managers, agents, attorneys. It's a different group of people that you're working with, but I think from my experience, creating community in sobriety for people is just so important. It works so well. And so that's what I try to do with a lot of my clients, is connecting them with each other. And
what do you tell somebody that is well known and says, I can't go to AA meetings in my community, I can't go to AA meetings?
It's interesting. I cannot think, I've worked with a lot of music and Disney, and it's never the actual client that says I can't go to an AA meeting. They actually want to go. They think it's kind of cool. Like, I've not experienced famous people. I've experienced more like the B-level celebrity,
Yeah.
and where it's like such a thing and there's
Yeah.
paranoia, but the really well-known ones I've found are totally cool going to meetings.
Yeah.
Now they get offended if, someone's taking photos of them leaving the meetings, but usually it's really interesting who thinks they're so important that they can't go to a meeting versus those who you wouldn't know who they are. And I've worked with a lot of those too.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about ego deflation.
Yeah,
it is
it
important.
is.
The more, like you talked about, if you're helping somebody really get down to who they are, strip them down so they can build up again into the life that they want and the person that they want to be.
Yeah.
Then going to an AA meeting to be around other people is not going to be a thing. It's
Not a
going to be
thing,
an
no.
issue to be seen in a place with other people who are doing the same thing.
Yeah, I can't even think of anyone I've ever worked with that said I can't go to a 12-step meeting. That was like very well known. I haven't experienced that. I know it exists. It's just I feel like that's more of a perception of famous people, but I haven't. Normally, I find that like the people well known, they like want to get gritty and be related and connect with others and think it's cool, and that's been my experience. Maybe I just
at Prospect Hill. I want to shift gears for a second.
Yeah.
We have clients that come in and they want to bring Coach Mike with and have Coach Mike stay in St. Croix, either on or near the property, to be there because you've been doing work together. How do you feel about that, being part of a treatment team while someone is there? Is that something that you've done or do, and do you like that concept?
you better have good food for me. You better have a gym. Like, I ain't dragging my ass to St. Croix unless you set me up.
It's all good.
I mean,
do you think it's a good idea to have the coach there as part of the team during that process?
I don't know. I think like, how long is St. Croix treatment?
Could be 90 days.
Okay.
Could be minimum, 30 people come for.
I mean, I think if I'm staying on an island while somebody is in treatment, I should probably work on my own codependency issues, because I don't think there's that much I could do if they're in your program and it's really effective. I wouldn't believe I would be there. Maybe this exists, I don't know, but I think I got too much shit going on to like sit on an island for 90 days. Yeah. Sorry, Terry, I'm busting you.
I'll tell you, I'm asking the question because it comes.
People sit there on the island while their patients are in treatment? What is wrong with these people?
I have questions from the people that have been allowed to send in text questions.
Okay.
So here's a big one for you. So Jennifer Lopez said, your book puts the power of change in the hands of the individual. Why do you think that resonated so deeply with her and so many others?
That people in general have had a really positive response to what I've created, because I didn't expect that in my life. And then look, like, we put certain people's voices as being really important. She's awesome. I mean, she's a friend of mine. I think she's authentically who she is. And so I think the materials of the book just like really resonated with her.
The idea of really getting at the core of who you are and doing that work and doing that interpersonal work. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is willing to do that, but she was willing, and that's
she's
the reason you think.
She's a hard worker, and it's easy to look at people we don't know who are on like TV screens or on music tours and come up with our own conclusions of them, but I can tell you she lives a very authentic, free life.
For in the book, you have the spheres framework. Yes. Are you able to take me through that and walk me through the framework?
Well, Terry, I will do the exercise with you. So
right now?
Yeah, really quickly.
Okay.
So you're gonna rate from a 1 to 10. Let's look at your life today. Right? And I know you're a pretty happy guy. At least you give the sense that you're living the life that you want to live, right?
Beyond my wildest dreams.
Is it beyond your wildest dreams?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you wake up every morning and say what?
Spring out of bed like Tigger the Tiger from Winnie the Pooh.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And you're just living?
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
Got it. And so for how long have you been living like that?
You know, I have 41 years of sobriety, and,
Yeah.
and I would say that there's, you know, periods and years that weren't the greatest situational stuff, but for most of my life, I've been getting the work that we get to do, that we're, you know, the reason we were chosen to do this work has me excited to get out of bed every day to go out and help people. So a long time.
Okay, so let's just keep this thing of like woohoo as the like 10 of
Okay.
your life,
Yeah.
and the one being what was like a terrible time in your life, like depression. During sobriety, I'm talking
My
about.
father passed away suddenly. He went into the hospital for tests, and he passed away during the test. Nobody expected that.
And that was like
So that was tough.
terrible day,
Yeah,
the worst,
yeah,
like one of the worst.
yeah, definitely. It's the one that stands out right now.
Got it. So the spheres is an exercise to just quickly assess the areas of your life and which one you maybe should address today. So just from a 1 to 10, how much of your social life aligns with like, woohoo, this is fantastic for you?
10 being the best.
10 being the best.
10 being the best. Social life, I'd say probably an 8.
8.
Yeah.
Okay, and how about the next is P, so it's an acronym, SPHERES. So personal being your mental health and your overall like views of yourself, your self-esteem, how would you rate that from a 1 to 10?
Probably a 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And then health is next, so your physical health, your exercise, how everything's working internally, your blood work, how would you rate that?
5.
Okay. And then the next would be how you're evolving in your life. You know, like when we're kids, we're so excited, we get to learn. How much are you kind of growing, evolving?
I'd say 8.
Okay. Your relationships is the R. So relationships with your kids, your family, your spouse, if you have one.
I'd give it a perfect 10, but I'm not going to. I'll give it a 9.
Okay. And your employment or earnings, that's
Yeah.
the next E. What would you rate it?
I'd say 8,
Okay. And the S is for spiritual development or spirituality. How would you rate it?
10.
Okay. So the one that sticks out is what?
Probably my health. My
Which is a
physical
5,
health. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so why is it a 5?
Some, you know, health issues, dealing with health issues, not uncertainty around that. Yeah.
What's the number one health issue for you?
Chronic liver disease. Yeah.
And what are you supposed to do for it?
Eat better and change my diet and a few other things
And
that I'm not doing.
You don't do it
No.
at all, or just
No,
a little
I do.
bit?
I intermittently, yeah.
So like, what's the worst thing you're doing for your health right now?
Probably eating gluten and eating things that I shouldn't be eating,
And
Carb, yeah.
why do you think you're doing that?
because I'm an addict, and I haven't surrendered and haven't turned my will in my life. You know, I have a program that teaches me how to not do other things, but I haven't applied it to the way I take care of my health.
So what are you waiting for? Like what's the moment?
I'm waiting to meet with you on this.
No, really though. Like
session to be
what's
able to
like
do it,
what's the moment?
for you to push me through? No, I think that's it. I think the moment is really looking at it seriously and saying, today's the day, and it's progress, not perfection, and start working on it.
And what would it take to change it?
Sitting down with you and having this conversation.
But I don't think the conversation is going to do it. I don't think it's enough.
No, it's action. Getting into
No,
action.
but what would you do differently?
I would start with food. I would probably start with food.
Like, what does that mean?
You know, garbage in, garbage out, and pain and suffering from not eating properly, and yeah.
So
I'd
do
eat
you
better.
do you actually know what you need to do for your health to change
Pretty
it, or
much.
you kind of know?
Pretty much, yeah.
You do need to know.
Yeah.
You do know.
Yes.
Okay. And when was the last time you went through like a week-long streak of it being like on point?
Last month.
Last month you
Yeah,
had a week
I
streak.
did a great week.
And then what-
Probably more than a week.
And then what happened?
Then I traveled.
Yeah, so the two things that fuck up our behaviors the most, like
Yeah.
whether it's food, sex, relationships, into whatever, is lack of structure and travel.
Yeah.
Those are like the two things, right? So you traveled, and then what, you eat shit on the plane?
Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere, like
Yeah.
you just like you wrecked
Back
buffets.
home, and hey, don't you want to go here? Don't you want to eat this? Don't you?
Okay.
Yeah. Could have easily controlled it, but I didn't.
Okay, so do you have like a nutrition plan that you know you should stick to?
Yes.
Like for sure.
Yes.
Okay. So then what we'll do is then you're going to text me every morning for the next 30 days, and you're going to tell me your kind of goal for the day,
Yeah.
right? And then I may periodically check in with you, and you're going to be honest with me whenever you have had successes or whenever it's kind of slid back down. If you're willing to do it or not. Like the moments now, like you did.
That's tremendous.
No, are you going to do it though?
Yeah, you're a lot bigger than I am.
Okay, so I am bigger.
You're
So
a
then,
lot bigger.
so then the plan is tonight you're going to text me.
Yeah.
Right. So then we just like start today, because why would we wait till tomorrow?
Agreed.
You know, and then that's kind of like what I do with the spheres.
Yeah.
It's just like
That's why he's Coach Mike and I'm not, because
yeah, but you're Terry
that's
Shapiro.
fantastic.
But then like then we can make a change, and then we don't do it alone, and then like we have success, and then it's like, you know, let's go to lunch this month, you know?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Put me through your nutrition, you know, maybe we have some scallops. This is exciting.
Fantastic. Yeah. Nice job. I want to ask, you know, the questions that keep coming in. That's, you know, Fritz Perls over there right now. So here's a question that I want to be able to answer before we have to end, okay? Super, super important. How do we build self-trust again after years of self-sabotage or addiction?
Like we don't trust ourselves?
Well, yeah, I mean, people who are having extramarital affairs, right? People who have the opportunity, they're doing really well, things are going so great, and then they have this self-defeating personality disorder issue, and they go out and they do something to self-sabotage. I mean, how do you get people? How do you work with them to get them to trust themselves again?
Every situation is pretty different, right? So I try to have the dynamic where we're honest, and we don't view setbacks as secrets or horrific
or failures.
So the first thing I think is just honestly looking at what happened, and then. But I think that. I mean, it's hard to say, Terry, because everyone's so different. Like
you're saying you're saying to help people normalize it and understand that what's happening isn't as bad as.
Well, yeah, like what you're talking about, or what I'm hearing is like it's like a shame or guilt or this feeling of.
Just self-loathing or low self-worth, shame, guilt. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's really hard to get rid of. I find that it's hardest to get rid of when we're not a part of a community or connected with others. You know, the love of friendships or the love of family or the love of, but also like it's just being honest with someone, you know, someone who's having affairs, let's say, the more they do it and the more ashamed they feel with it, the worse it gets. And so I have clients that I work with that, we add humor to it to some degree, because if you add a little bit of humor of what's going on, it can reduce the shame a little bit, and I find then they're going to be more honest with me, and we can work through it. But that's a tough one, you know. Like I think that's like
depends on the situation. Every
yeah. Like I just think like we're all so, even as like addicts, I just think everyone's so unique and has their own DNA and history and genetics and behaviors that they're doing, and so I try to help them figure out what's truly going on and create some freedom to have conversation, and then what's the plan that we need to do together to get through it, and without judgment, because ultimately they're the ones that are going to have to drive the process.
Yeah. Last one. So you've worked with celebrities and everyday people alike. What do you think is universally true about what makes us feel unfulfilled?
So I've worked with a lot of people. I think we feel unfulfilled when we don't have any purpose in our lives. Purpose is not buying a new television or a new car or going on a vacation. Purpose is like, why are we here? What are we doing? So I am so grateful for recovery and working in this field, because I get the purpose of helping others, and that makes me feel spiritually fit. That works for me. Other people, it's other types of purposes, but I think having a reason why we feel connected to living is really important to having fulfillment. And I find that someone's purpose is not fans loving them. There's no purpose in that. Purpose is maybe them creating art that tells a story or that has an impact or that brings joy to other people. So I think when that starts to go away, that's why I find a lot of artists even they struggle to reinvent.
And when
It's
you say
hard.
artists, you're talking about all artists, songwriters, musicians, actors, and
Yeah, authors, singers. I mean,
and
well, I think in some degree we're all artists and helping. Yeah, there's the art of helping people too, but we can get really stagnant. And I think what was working at one time, we have to reinvent a little bit to feel really fulfilled. Otherwise, everything just in life feels redundant. You know, like if we would have looked back at our lives today in college and gone, holy, wow, I got to be having somebody actually ask my opinion of life who's respected, I would have thought that was wild, you know? And even why I'm talking to you today is that in my relationship to you is it aligns with my purpose of living a life. And I admire you. I find you your energy contagious. I like being around you. So many people like being around you. I wish I had more of your social patience and spirit around what you do. I find I can fall into being a little more jaded, like a little bit. And I like being around people like you because it keeps me excited to do what I do.
Thank you, Coach Mike. The feeling is mutual.
Thank you, Terry.
Grateful for you taking the opportunity to be here with us. And when you went through the spheres, you talked about what are you doing to continue to grow, what are you doing to evaluate where you're at and elevate who you are as a person, and that's right in line with what you were saying right now. People who are unfulfilled maybe are stuck in that rut and not moving, not looking for what else is there. And I think one of the greatest pieces of literature in our program that we know and love was the Chicago group wrote a pamphlet called The Why We Are Chosen, which talks about that, is why we were chosen to be the people to carry the message to other people still sick and suffering, which is really cool. It's a great, to know our meaning and purpose for being on this planet.
Yeah, we're lucky.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.